All right, here we go. It's episode number 17 of the Odgies podcast. There he is. There's Harry Mays with the vest on today. Harry Mays, how
It's
are
cold.
you?
It's cold in my house, Jason. Man, it's like 30 degrees outside. I thought winter was over.
Yeah, it's not just cold in your house. It is cold outside.
Yeah.
I went out and I was like, whoa, man, look at this. You know, it's funny because I was looking, I'm on the stupid Facebook thing. I sound like an old person. I'm
Why?
on Facebook. Yeah, good question. I don't post there very often, but a memory popped up from 2013. I was living at my other house out there in the boonies with all the land, and there was a picture off the back deck from March 27th, so not quite today, but and we had about 6 inches of snow, and my post said, "If this is this is my idea of perfect spring weather."
Yeah. I guarantee your tune has changed somewhat since then.
Not much.
No?
I still love the cold, man.
Oh my God.
I can't get enough.
We are exact opposites. We've always been in that regard. But I find it funny how you just put that with Facebook, where you're like, yeah, I was looking at Facebook, a memory came up. I don't post there anymore. It's almost like people, they almost are like they have to apologize for still being on Facebook, yet they're still on Facebook. And I just wonder why that is. Like I kicked that to the curb back in 2012 and have never looked back. But I find a lot of people say the same type of thing that you just did, where they're like, oh, yeah, I was checking Facebook the other day, and people look at them, oh, you're still on, or you're on Facebook? Well, I never post. Well, then why are you on it?
Well, I use it for promotional purposes only, Harry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's the only thing I really do for it. Once in a while, you know, I'll put something there for, you know, whatever. But
well, that's another thing. So you promote your podcasts, your shows, this show, whatever, you know, the Stick to Hockey and all the other stuff. That's great. Do people see it? Because I hear from our other colleague 20 times a day that Twitter, when he's trying to promote stuff on the Twitter, nobody sees it and he's getting shadow banned. And what's the point?
Yeah, I don't see that. That doesn't seem to happen to me. I don't know if there's a conspiracy against Aton, but he certainly thinks there's a conspiracy against himself. And he may be willing a conspiracy against himself.
Right.
Because, you know, the whole rant about, you know, Twitter is limiting what you can see about me. I'm going to rip Twitter on Twitter. Doesn't seem like the best route.
Yeah. I see more rips on Twitter for shadow banning his tweets than I do his regular tweets. And I guess that's his point. But I do see all of his stuff. I just wonder, because that's basically all I use social media for any day, whether it's Instagram, which is part of Facebook, or Twitter. Those are the only two things I'm really on. I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't really do much on there. But I just wonder, like, how many people really, I guess, are seeing our stuff, because they can control it. They can mute you, essentially.
Yeah. But that's a choice that they've made. Like, I got a pretty lengthy mute list. I have a very short blocked list.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
no, I'm saying Twitter can kind of mute you, not you muting Aton or me, or vice versa. I'm saying Twitter basically can mute you,
can limit you.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Why would they do that, though? Why would they limit us?
I don't know. I've never said really hardly anything controversial on the site, really. I mean, a couple of dumb jokes maybe over the past 10 years, but outside of that, I've never gotten really political on there. I choose not to get in that game.
Me too.
And you know, basically promote. Maybe the fact is that they want us to purchase, you know, and promote the tweets by giving them money. Yeah. And if you don't do that, then therefore you get pushed to the bottom of the pile.
The bottom of the algorithm, if you will.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I've never purchased a tweet or promoted a tweet through money. I've never given them a dime, and I don't think I ever will. But
yeah, I'm not even verified. How do you even get blue check marked anymore?
Yeah, you got to go through this whole process. I was going to go through it, and I saw the things you need to do, and I'm like, screw this. I don't give a shit. It's a blue check mark. Who cares?
But the theory is that if you are a blue check mark, your stuff gets seen by more people.
Yeah, I think that's bullshit too.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I see the engagement numbers. I try and pull the engagement numbers on this show that we do because it's streamed on Twitter,
Right.
and I don't see any limitation. I see some tweets that I've put out that have huge numbers of exposure. So I don't know. I haven't seen anything change over the years. If anything, I've seen it grow. And obviously the Flyers audience that I deal with most often is very engaged.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, this team, they stink. I'm apathetic. I don't care anymore," but they keep tweeting about it.
Right.
Yeah. And the casuals are the ones that really don't give a shit. They kind of move
like
away.
me. Yeah.
They find other things. So let's tell people about betPARX. We got a list of things to go through today on this episode 17 of the OGs podcast presented by betPARX. But let's tell people about betPARX because we're down to the final four.
Yep.
Got a local team.
Yes, we do. The Blue Bloods have will invade New Orleans this week.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the coach of said Villanova Wildcats. But let's tell people about betPARX because the new app is out. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I looked at the lines this morning for the Final Four, and I got engaged. I got involved in the North Carolina Tar Heels getting 4 now. I got it at 4.5 about 2 hours ago. Now it's down to 4 against Duke in the nightcap, which tips around 10 minutes to 9 on Saturday night. And if you want to take the money line, Carolina's minus 107 on the money line on Parks, and I'm big on the Tar Heels. I think this is going to be a classic, super close game, possibly even an overtime game, and I'm thinking this is a 1 or 2 point game either way you look at it.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
It would.
You look at it and, you get Duke and Coach K's final year,
right?
Ramming his way to a national championship. And now they play, it's Duke UNC to boot.
Yeah, classic. Yeah, it's classic.
You can't write it any better.
No, you really can't.
And then you got Kansas Villanova in the other bracket trying to bull their way there. Do you like a side in that Kansas Villanova game?
Well, Villanova's down Justin Moore now, one of their key starters. He averages about 14, 15 points a game, and he tore his Achilles in the waning moments of that game against Houston, which is really unfortunate. So they're going to need Caleb Daniels to step in there and step up. And here's a little nugget on Caleb Daniels. He's been at Nova for, I think, 2 seasons now. He came from Tulane, and he's from New Orleans.
Wow.
So how interesting a little tie-in would that be if Caleb Daniels puts up, let's say, 18, 20 points to help the Wildcats beat Kansas and get to another Final Four, which would be the 5th one for Jay Wright in his illustrious career at Villanova, which is now spanning just over 20 years. I think he's been there since 2000, 2001, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And that would be, he's already in, his 4th. No, it's his 4th Final Four, but he would get to the championship game for, I believe, the 3rd time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got 2 wins.
Correct. 2016 and 2018.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing the job he's done. Well, get on the betPARX app because you got the finality of the tournament coming up this weekend. Then you also have the remainder of the hockey season and the NBA season. As you mentioned, the NBA's only got a few
8
games
more
left.
games for the Sixers. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's playoff time.
Right. And they lost to the Phoenix Suns last night.
Yeah.
In a big matchup out west. And 8 more regular season games. They got the Bucks coming up, I believe, tomorrow night at home. And pretty soon we'll be in the play. Right now, I think they're the 4th seed. It changes. All these teams, Boston, Milwaukee, and the Sixers are all so closely, tied in, a half game, 2.5 games, whatever it is out of first place. And they keep jumping around. Right now, the Sixers are the 4th seed. So I think that would match them up against the Chicago Bulls in the first round of the playoffs, the 4-5, if things stayed the same.
It's crazy because it feels like things are tighter in the NBA kind of from stem to stern of the playoff teams than it's been in years.
I know. It's crazy. It's really good. I'm anxiously anticipating, obviously for the Sixers point of view, but the East is really tightly bound, as if you will. And now the Brooklyn Nets getting Kyrie to be able to play in home games now. They've made that determination last week, I believe. So, that's obviously going to strengthen their positions. And, right now they're kind of in that, the sort of the play-in game type of scenario for right now. But they get through that, which I think they will. They're going to be a big-time force.
I mean, think about this. The top 4 teams in the East, Boston, Miami, the Bucks, and the Sixers. Boston and Miami have a record of 47-28. They've played one more game than the Sixers and Bucks, and the Sixers and Bucks are 46-28. Half game back. This is bananas. I mean, really, it's going to swing the matchups like daily. It's going to be fascinating. I love that. That's good. Too. That's good for the NBA.
Yes, it absolutely is. And Phoenix, right now riding high in the West. I mean, they are the best record, I believe, in the NBA. Over 60 wins.
Yeah, 61-14.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah. So get the betPARX app and get in on all the action for all the postseasons coming up. Baseball around the corner as well. The betPARX app is simple to use. It's great mobile casino and sports book. And right now, new users, you're going to get a $20 casino bonus or a $20 free sports bet. Just for getting on. So check it out. You do need to be over 21 and present in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And they, of course, present this fine podcast along with Stick to Hockey and much more. So we appreciate them as well. Follow them on the social channels at betPARX now on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you'll get great content there as well. Let's start kind of how let's keep it with Jay right here, because it's my contention over his tenure, considering everything, the balance of power in college basketball and, what he gets from a recruiting standpoint and all that. Is he, I think I know the answer to this, but is he the greatest coach in basically Philadelphia sports history?
Philadelphia sports history. Wow.
I mean, who are the contenders, right? I mean, you got to look at.
Well, Andy Reid.
Yeah. He's a Hall of Famer.
Never got the big one, but had a sustained period of real success that, is now you look back on it, we think differently maybe now than we did when we were living it, every day. And maybe when things weren't going so well, never came up with the championship. But that was a long period of sustained, success and relevance. They were a playoff team practically every year, and you always knew you had a chance.
Yep.
So you got to put him in there. I mean, Charlie Manuel wasn't here all that long, but they had tremendous success.
Yep.
In that period. I mean, go back to some of your hockey. Fred Shero back in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
2 cups.
Went to another one the next year.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, and then you get into the 80s for the hockey team, and Keenan went to 2 cups in 85 and 87, but didn't win them here.
Right. Dick Vermeil would have to be in there too. I mean,
he's up there, but
he's up there.
Yeah, I mean, the turnaround of the Eagles at that time and got to the Super Bowl in 80, but was the first team to lose to a wild card team.
Right. John Chaney had tremendous years, from the mid to late 80s till the late 90s, early 2000s with Temple, but never got to a Final Four.
Yeah.
Got 5 Elite Eights, but never got to a Final Four. But, here's Jay in his 4th Final Four. And
2 in the chamber already that he won.
Yeah, 2 championships.
Yeah.
And
Villanova wins in 85 with Raleigh, but
that's right.
That's, I mean, to do what he's doing with that program. Look, we know the way he runs it. We know he's a media darling, and he's earned the media darling status because he genuinely is a good man.
Yeah, you genuinely like him. Pick out a guy who doesn't like him. I want to know why.
Yeah. And he's rebuffed all opportunity to go to bigger programs.
Yeah, like Kentucky, the NBA. There's been all kinds of stories over the last, 5 to 10 years of, varied interest in him to go to the NBA. And I know there was a Kentucky situation years ago, and, he's happy where he is. He's a Bucks County guy. He loves this area. He loves going to the shore in the summertime and, playing golf whenever he can when he's not out there recruiting. He just loves it here. And why leave? I mean, he's the king.
He is. And he has success, and he's proven that even though he's at the little school that he can compete for national championships.
Mm-hmm. Because in college basketball, you can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that is possible, and plus with he's never been one of these guys that's gotten involved with, the one and done type of scenarios. He's always been a guy that brings in guys with the intent of them being there, 2-3 years minimum, and building a culture. And he really has a culture. Guys come in there, they know what they're getting into, they know what they're getting involved with, and he goes out and selects guys that he thinks are going to fit that culture. And we overuse the word culture a lot, but it really applies with what Jay has put together over 20 years at Villanova.
Yeah, what he does is he molds them into championship contenders. He truly builds a team, and it's not just, hey, one recruiting class comes in, he's great, and then they're gone.
Right.
Which I think is even more respectable. And you're right about the culture thing too. Like you've met Jay, you've talked to Jay.
Oh yeah,
I have
many
as
times.
well.
Yeah.
And you don't. Some guys you feel like he's a good motivator, good leader, man, all that, good coach. But you just feel like there's a lot of bullshit here or fluff. With Jay, it seems so genuine. Like the way when you talk to him and the way he looks you in the eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
He's a class guy.
Absolutely. You can just tell why he's so good at recruiting.
Oh, he walks in the living room, Harry, forget it.
In 10 minutes, he's recruited me, and I'm a Temple guy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep. But he not only recruits the player, he recruits the mom, he recruits the dad, he recruits the family and the values and everything. And not only that, but obviously Villanova, beautiful campus and the whole thing. And I guess it makes it easier for him too when you've got 2 national championships under your belt in recent time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You can walk in there with it as a champion.
Yeah, they have a true brand. I mean, and they're going up against 3 other true brands in college basketball. I mean, you can list a couple others in there that aren't there, like Kentucky has got a true brand. And there's several other ones, Michigan State with Tom Izzo, and he's been in there over 20 years, has established a real brand where you just know how they're going to play. You know what kind of kids they're going to want to bring into their program and how they're going to develop them.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you look Duke, UNC, Kentucky, Kansas. I mean, these are programs that you see repeatedly year after year. And I think that's great for the tournament. I think this has been a tournament that maybe brings it back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, St. Peter's, had a nice little run. You like to see
Cinderella.
some Cinderella make a run. I kind of figured that I thought they'd lose to Purdue, to be honest with you. But then when they were going up against Carolina yesterday, I kind of figured that would be the end. I didn't know it was going to be quite the blowout that it ended up being, but I figured that was the end. This Carolina team, I've been on them since before the tournament started. I think they've got exactly what you need to win it all.
Yeah, tremendous team. So the tournament will wrap up this weekend and into early next week. It's been fascinating and really cool. It was in Philly this week too, which was really cool. So let's get to some other stuff here, Harry. Let's go to the slap heard around the world. Now, were you watching the Oscars live, Harry, on Sunday night?
What do you think?
Nope, me neither.
Okay. Yeah,
I haven't watched Flyers Predators, Harry.
Oh, of course. I'm going to leave that one go. All right. No, I was not watching. I was probably in bed when the slap heard around the world actually took place, but I haven't dialed in on the Oscars in several years.
Me neither.
For various reasons. But I woke up this morning and turned my phone on, and a couple of guys, I'm in this big group text with a bunch of guys at my golf club. And there was all these texts about it. I'm like, oh man, what did I miss? So immediately, of course, I go to social media, I go to Twitter, and I find it right away. And I watched the video of it. And I love Chris Rock. And I like some Will Smith movies too. I thought immediately that it was staged.
Me too.
Because this is an event. This is a TV event that used to be huge and has been hemorrhaging ratings and viewership for many years now. And like I said, I don't watch it anymore. I used to watch the red carpet with my wife years ago, and now forget it. She's not even dialed in on. She is not even in on. Okay?
Yeah, wow.
So I'm looking at this, and I'm like, here's 2 guys that maybe they say they've been at odds for years because of various other jokes that Chris Rock has levied their way or whatever. He's a comedian. Okay. That's part of the territory. Yeah. And I guess she suffers from alopecia and has lost her hair and was sitting there, and he made a joke about that. And all of a sudden then you see Will Smith come up, and I see Chris Rock brace for impact. If you notice that, he kind of leaned his chin in there, like if this was a hockey fight, would that have happened? Where guys
never
like, all right, come on,
the chin.
Yeah, you're right. He led with the chin, and then the slap occurred. Okay, it wasn't a punch. I love how these websites say, "Oh, an alleged punch." No, it was a slap. And then you see there's a still shot that I took a picture of. I took a picture of a picture, which is a lot of what I do just to look at stuff, where you see Will Smith walking away with this he's laughing. He's like, he's got a grimace where he's like laughing. And Chris Rock is like, kind of wince, still turned from the shot, but you can see him, he had braced for impact.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these guys are actors. They spend all of their life being someone they're not, or pretending. Okay. So what makes you think that this is all of a sudden real? Because some innocuous joke, now Will Smith gets up there and he's had enough. And then he sits down and goes all Samuel Jackson on him by saying, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth. And he does it not once, but twice.
Yeah. We got to go to the Japanese feed to hear it.
Exactly. I did. Did you do that? I thought that was great. So I think it's staged. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm a little jaded.
Yeah, not Jada Pinkett Smith.
No.
I don't think it was staged, and I think he just lost his marbles. But the thing is when he immediately says the joke, Will Smith is kind of laughing.
Yes.
And Jada kind of rolls her eyes and is like, seriously? And then he reacts.
Okay. Like he's got to stand up for his woman because she's offended.
Yeah, he wasn't offended by it at first.
Right.
Because he's laughing. And you're right. Like comedians, if you're in the crowd and there's a comedian there, you are fair game. And comedy has been something traditionally that has always gone over the line in insult insult comics. And they always do this. They get the crowd. They get it good.
Right.
To me, if this is really made a big deal of, and it obviously already has been, people on social media, I had to just get off. I'm like, why was he not ejected and arrested on site? He should be in jail. It's assault. I'm like, oh my God, people, has anybody ever made fun of your girlfriend or something and you had to like put them in their place? Like, do we have to put a criminal charge on everything now? It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah, it is. It is kind of astonishing, though, that you can get up out of a crowd and go slap somebody on stage and then go and sit down for the rest of the show. That is kind of startling, though, when you think about it. That shows you the gravitas of Will Smith in that world.
Yeah, I was surprised that he just walked right up there. I mean, hey, I got to give it to Chris Rock, though. I mean, the guy who played Ali came up and got him. And he barely flinched.
He didn't even rub his chin.
He was like, I just got the shit knocked out of me by Will Smith.
Yeah. That was the greatest moment in television history, he said.
Yeah. I mean, good on him the way he reacted to it. But
if that didn't happen, nobody's talking about the Oscars today.
No, I wouldn't even really have known that I knew they were happening. But I mean, he makes the G.I. Jane joke, and because of Demi Moore had the shaved head in G.I. Jane.
Which I loved, by the way.
Me too.
I'm all about the shaved head.
Me too.
Yeah.
Only certain women can pull it off, Harry.
Right. That's true. Yeah, you got to have the right dome.
I could never date a woman with a shaved head, though, because you can't have a shaved head and have your partner looking the same.
Well, yeah, that's what wigs are for.
Yeah, and you can do
different
a lot with
colors
a wig,
and different. Oh, yes, sir. I'm a big fan of the wig.
Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Not Kristen Wiig, even though I like her too. She's actually kind of funny.
By the way, I just watched a movie with Demi Moore.
Yeah,
it's on.
She looks fantastic, by the way.
She looked awesome in this movie.
It's on
Netflix. It's called Margin Call.
Margin Call,
and it's about
is this a stock business thing?
It's about the 2008 financial crisis.
Okay. Yeah, the real estate bubble. Wasn't that the real estate bubble?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she's a risk management employee in this huge firm in New York that's going to sell their position when they find out basically that the whole thing's a house of cards.
Okay.
And she does look fantastic.
Yeah.
Good movie. Kevin Spacey's in it. Jeremy Irons. Yeah.
I thought he was canceled. When was this movie made?
I think it just came out, Har.
Oh, wow.
Pretty good movie. Oh, no, it was 2011. Jeez.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because Spacey's been canceled since then, I think.
Everybody goddamn canceled.
Yeah.
but we'll see if Will Smith gets canceled along with him.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it.
Let's move on to some sad news that we got out of the rock world the other day.
Yeah.
When Taylor Hawkins passed away down in Bogota, Colombia, just I guess hours before the Foo Fighters were set to appear at a Lollapalooza date down there.
Yeah, some big festival date down there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is he? 50 years old?
Just turned in February.
How many times do we hear about this, whether it's a musician or an actor dying in a hotel room? And there's, the toxicology reports start to filter out, and you find out that there's X amount of substances were in the system and all this kind of, it's just sad. 50 years old, way, 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 way too young to go. And this guy, now I'm not the biggest Foo Fighters fans. I do like them. I do enjoy a lot of their songs. But this guy he was part of that energy, man. This band has energy. Yeah. And he just sort of, personified, I think, the energy of the Foo Fighters. It's going to be a big loss for them.
Yeah. I was supposed to go see him on, I think it's May 14th at Starlight Amphitheater in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah?
And I imagine that's going to be off. I mean, you just don't turn around and replace a guy that was that big of a piece in the band.
The Who replaced Keith Moon pretty quickly, didn't they, with Kenny Jones?
Was it that fast, though, Harry?
I don't know if it was like 2 months, but I mean, it didn't take all that long. I mean, they were back out on tour.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he and Grohl were insanely tight. Obviously, Grohl's a drummer as well.
Yeah, right.
So they bonded over that, and he was the touring drummer with Alanis Morissette for years.
Right.
A great skinsman. Yeah. And I mean, great musician, and like those two, you're right about that energy, because those two just kind of played off each other, almost like I've interviewed Dave Grohl before, and I've never interviewed a guy that was more comfortable in his own skin, laid back, and not pretentious, as big of a rock star as he is. I mean,
I remember you saying that
in
before.
Nirvana.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah, and who Hawkins reminds me of Grohl in Nirvana.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those two were just kind of like twins in a way, and just kind of played off each other personality wise. They just seemed like they were always having a good time, and it's a huge loss, because he was a really good drummer as well. I mean,
good rock and roll drummer, no doubt.
Yeah. No doubt about it. And I just can't imagine, like, for Dave Grohl what he's going through. But I mean, the toxicology report, the guy was mixing all kinds of stuff. He had a heroin overdose, I think, in 2001.
Oh, he did?
But then got his shit together and was like, I just can't mess with this stuff, and I got out of control with it. So when he died, I immediately thought of that. I'm like, oh boy, maybe he's mixing some things, and when you mix all that shit, it's just bad. Bad.
It was a cardiac arrest, I believe, right?
Yeah, based on multiple substances apparently being in the system. So,
jeez.
It's just brutal. When I was at YSP, we did these things called Indre Recording Studio. We call them rock sessions. And they had these little studios, and Indre was down in South Philly, and they had like a practice room, and there was like couches in there, beanbag chairs. You could fit about 30 or 40 people in there.
Right.
And we did one with the Foo Fighters.
Okay.
And, we go in there, we're hanging out, and the band comes in, and they're just like going through sound check and stuff with their acoustic guitars and stuff.
It's like an unplugged deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is probably in 2000, I want to say.
Okay.
Their second album, The Color and the Shape, had just come out a little while before that. And we did it with them, and they're in there like going through sound check, and like some of the staff from the radio station and the studio are hanging out in there, and they're like done. So, somebody says, all right, you guys can go back now. We'll bring in the winners. Like, we had like 30 people that won that could come in and see this thing, and it's recorded. And Dave's like, screw that, just bring them in. Every other band that we did it with went away, and then when the crowd was assembled, they made this big thing. Hey, welcome the Foo Fighters. Right. They walk in and they play. Right. So he's like, screw that, just tell them to come in. And people start walking in. They walk in the room, and they're there like fiddling with their guitars, fucking around, playing like Kiss songs.
Right.
And so they do this rock session, and it was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, Dave's telling stories, and then they probably played like 6 or 8 songs. But like, you just see like that they were tight, and this is back then, like really tight and just so good. And it was really cool. To
I
see
went
that.
to one of those things with Chris Cornell and
Oh,
WMMR where Pierre Robert hosted it, kind of thing, and it
yeah.
was for air later, but I went to the actual taping of it late in the afternoon during a weekday over in Manayunk somewhere, and it was one of the coolest events. I've been to a lot of concerts, as have you, but this was one of the coolest events ever because of the intimacy of it and just seeing them sort of create this thing live that was for they're going to edit down a little bit and then they're going to air it on the radio later, and
Yeah.
you'll hear the finished product, but you're like, no, I was there before he did this. He actually did this, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's cool to be at something like that. It's just really a cool experience.
Yeah, and Pierre do like a Q&A with him as
Yeah.
he's
Oh
going and
yeah.
talking, and then to hear that dude sing in a small room like
Oh,
that, forget
tremendous.
it, right, huh?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I saw him down at the Borgata too, in a pretty small room one time. I've seen him several times with Audio Slave and Soundgarden, and then by himself. He's another guy that I truly miss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gone way too soon.
Yep.
Yeah. It's too many of these guys. I mean, like, he was. I never saw Soundgarden or him perform live, and it's one of the great regrets. The other guy I never saw was Lane Staley from Alice in Chains.
Yeah, I never saw him.
Huge regret for me because I'm a huge fan of Alice in Chains. But but to bring it back, Harry, you got to watch Margin Call. Good movie on there. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I watched it. I think I watched it on Saturday night. By the way, the old lady's got me now, and I'm relenting, and I'm going to watch it. I've watched one episode of Yellowstone. Have you watched this Yellowstone with Kevin Costner show?
Yeah, well, I haven't watched it, but I've seen episodes, like random episodes. I haven't, sort of sat down to watch, season 1, episode 1 through 10 or whatever it is. But I do want to do it because it was a cool, it's a pretty cool story, and there's some good acting in there.
Yeah, I've heard it's like the old lady's telling me, and I've been reading about it, that people say the show is phenomenal. They just finished season 4, I think.
Okay.
And I just started it streaming it on the Peacock on the Roku.
Okay.
And just finished episode 1, and I like it. And I like that, I want to be a rancher.
You do?
Yeah. I want to go out there and live on the ranch with the dry, windy air.
Yeah. Okay. There's more to just being in the dry, windy air than being a rancher, though. There's work involved.
Yeah. I noticed that when the dude had to pull a calf out of a cow that was having a breech birth, and he had to put the arm condoms on to pull this calf out.
Right. Before the vet gets there, you might have to do that.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to do that part.
Okay.
I'm going to hire a hand. I'm going to have a ranch hand.
That's a real hand that you're hiring there. Go up in there.
Yeah. Oh, boy. You got to get in there. And it comes out, the calf comes flying out like it's on a slip inside once he gets out of the breech position, and it comes out walking right away. I'm like, this thing is a coordinated calf.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it looks like a good show. The few episodes that I saw, I was very intrigued. But that's another one of these. Which app is it on now? Because everybody's got, all the networks have their own little app that you have to purchase in order to watch this stuff. They take it off of Netflix and then they put it on the Paramount or whatever it's called, and the Hulu, and whatever else. Peacock, I guess, is the other one. So which is it on? Is it Paramount?
Yeah. So I went on like my Xfinity app and I put it in. I'm like, oh, look here, there's a bunch of episodes listed, and like they're all listed. And I go down to season 1, episode 1, and it's like $2.99 buy. I'm like, what? I can't just on demand this?
Right. No, not anymore, man.
So I'm like, geez. So I go through and I come to find out it's streamed on Peacock, and I have Peacock as part of my package. So I have to go through this whole process of opening an account and linking it, and so I will have it all free of charge because it's part of my cable package through the Peacock app, which I stream on the Roku in the studio.
Okay, that's a lot to take in, the Peacock app on the Roku. But did you know that there's a musician on that in that cast?
No,
on the Dutton Ranch. Ryan Bingham plays Walker on the show, and he's an actual rodeo guy and country musician, like that outlaw country kind of stuff he does. Yeah.
I like that.
He's
like
pretty popular.
Hank Williams Jr.'s
exactly.
outlaw country.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm more into the outlaw country than I am country pop.
Yeah, this guy is not country pop. Trust me.
Yeah, like I'm not into Lady Antebellum hair.
No. That's now called just Lady A because
What?
apparently they thought antebellum is a word you can't say anymore.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so it's
So that
Lady A.
so their name got canceled.
Yeah, I think they canceled it themselves.
Wow.
It was a self-cancellation. Yeah,
Can
yeah.
I cancel myself?
I'd love to.
I'd like to take a break.
If you haven't noticed, I am right
Yeah.
now. You know, I've been
Brilliant.
doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need it. Speaking of which, so I'm going to be 50 tomorrow.
Get
Wednesday,
out of here.
yeah, the 30th, I will be 50 years of age here. I'm joining the 50 club, 50 plus
Wow.
club.
Wow, I'm way ahead of you.
Yeah.
But congratulations. Welcome to the club. It's not that bad.
So I'm going away with the old lady booked this trip for my 50th to this resort place in Bedford Springs. You aware of this Bedford Springs?
Is it Nemacolin?
I don't know. It's the Bedford Springs Resort.
Oh, okay. No, then that's a different one. Okay. But it's out in Western PA, right? Like Southwestern PA?
Yeah, down there by the Somerset exit there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of them out in there.
So she's got like a spa day booked and all this stuff. Now, is this trip booked for me or is this trip booked for her?
No, it's for
using the
her.
guise of my birthday?
It's actually for her.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because what are you you're not a spasman.
No. Well, I like a massage, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Deep tissue. You'll get in there. Can you use the elbow?
Some nice oils.
Yeah. Some herbal essence. Could you see him in a spa?
Yeah, actually I could. I could.
We think Swedish. And like the masseuse will say to him, is that enough pressure? No.
Yeah. Give me a little Reiki.
Yeah.
Not Mark Reiki.
Yeah. Yeah, Reiki massage.
Reiki.
Like one of those candles.
I could see him in a robe, walking around in a robe.
Yeah, he's a robesman.
And the slippers.
But like there would be, because you know how he is, like you'd see him in the morning, Anthony.
Yeah.
And he would attack you
right.
like you were an open field running back running to the end zone of his life.
Right.
And he'd Brian Dawkins algae crumpler you over the middle when you said hello in the morning for breakfast.
Yeah, he'd lower the shoulder, like right into your chest.
Like when he put Camille through the wall.
Yeah, who I think still has a slip disc or two from the incident.
He's a wall. Camille's got the basically the immune system of an ant.
Yeah.
You know, he'd be sick.
No, that sounds like a nice couple of days. I mean, what do you plan on doing for yourself while she's pampering herself?
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do? I think everything's like couples done.
Yeah? You can't go out for a nice hike on your own?
No. Well, we'll go for a hike, but it's going to be the two of us. But I said they got these segways that you can take that go on like the trails.
Oh, really?
So I don't want to actually hike. I'll just get on the Segway, and that'll be my way of hiking here.
So there's no
hiking's a workout. I don't want to work out on my 50th.
You take some edibles and you go into the woods on a walkabout.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad plan. The old lady did have a big order at Beyond Hello the other day. And I think she puts in the order. I go with her and we're in the truck and I hand her a card and the cash and they come back and they got like a forklift for her order at the Beyond Hello.
You got to go back to the loading dock to pick it up.
I didn't know I needed to take Evan's hockey bag out of the back of the truck to fit everything. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what did you order? And it's like weekly. I pull into the Beyond Hello and there's a line. Because like they took over like a lot of these old banks and stuff.
Okay.
So there's like a pickup line. Like you can go in, but you just place your order online. You go give them your card and then they bring your order out.
Okay.
And it's Friday night. We pull in there and there's like 12 cars deep waiting to pick up their shit.
At the drive-through.
Yeah.
Like a drive-through scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Wow.
About freaking time. All right, let's tell people about the betPARX app one more time because I got to get to the 50th celebration out in Bedford Springs.
Can't leave the old lady waiting.
No, God forbid.
Jeez. She's going to get buckled for 3 days.
on the ride there, Harry.
Like, what are you gonna do? I need to know next week. What, everything that went down.
Yeah,
At least outside the room.
She'll be a mess. It'll be great.
Yeah,
I'm just hoping she passes out.
yeah.
And I can stream
Early.
I can stream Yellowstone on my iPad or something.
Maybe watching some West Coast hockey feed or something.
Yeah, very likely.
Yeah.
betPARX is the all-new casino and sportsbook app. It is now live. Make sure you check it out. Get in on the action. Simple to use. Bet money lines, props, parlays, same game parlays, live in-game betting, player performances. It's all there for the NCAA tournament. What was the play you had again, Harry, on that?
I took the Tar Heels earlier today, and then the line has moved. It's gone from 4.5 down to 4. The Tar Heels are a slight underdog, getting 4 now on the Parks app against Duke on Saturday night.
Now, will you hedge that if the line goes too far in one direction, Harry?
Probably not. I don't know that it's going to move down a whole lot more.
All right, so check out the betPARX app and get your action in there for the remainder of the college basketball tournament, of course, NBA, NHL, and much more. New Parks users, you get the choice of either a $20 casino bonus or a $20 free sports bet. And just do it by downloading the new Parks Sportsbook app today. You do need to be over 21 and present in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. If you're looking to do a podcast, check out my guys at Wildfire Podcasting. Give Jim a call, Jim Grasso. Wildfire, great stuff. Their first episode will be free. They can set everything up for you, handle it stem to stern. So make sure you Google it and check it out, Wildfire Podcasting, and ask for our buddy Jim Grasso as well. All right, Harry, that's going to put a wrap on 17. We're back next week for 18, another edition of the OG's podcast.
Happy 50th birthday, man.
Oh, thank you. I can't wait. I can't believe it. How did this happen to me? All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Leave us a rating and review. Make sure you subscribe. We'll talk to you next time on the OG's podcast presented by betPARX.